G'day and welcome back to the channel. My name's Aaron, and in today's video we are talking all about elbow tendonitis, how to get rid of it if you have it, and how to prevent it from happening again in the future.
So what is elbow tendonitis?
Elbow tendonitis is characterized by a sharp pain on the inside of the elbow, which is golfer's elbow, or the outside of the elbow, which is tennis elbow.
The first time I got golfer's elbow on the inside of the elbow, I didn't know what it was. So out of pure ignorance, I just kept training. And guess what? That didn't turn out real great.
What happens with elbow tendonitis, there's an overuse of an area. For me, I was doing a lot of chin-ups at the time. I was doing weighted chin-ups, and this part of my elbow got very inflamed. I didn't know what it was. I thought it might have been linked to like DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness, because I'd experienced that quite a lot in the past, but this was different. It was an unshakable, sharp pain, and it got to the point where I couldn't throw a ball without excruciating pain. I couldn't pick up shopping bags easily, and the clincher for me was when it was painful to pick up my own children.
Because I didn't know what tendonitis was when I first got it, preventing it wasn't exactly something on my mind. So if you're watching this, it's likely you're in a similar case, in which case we need to rehab that tendonitis so that you can get back to your training, and then we'll also build in some prevention techniques so that it doesn't happen again. So let's take a look at some drills.
The very first concept of the rehab process is stop doing anything that's acutely upsetting the area. So if you've got golfer's elbow on the inside and you've been doing chin-ups, and that's adding to the inflammation, you need to stop that or change your grips. So you might experiment with a different grip setup, maybe a neutral grip, or you might go for a pull-up grip. That might not hurt it. But if it's severely inflamed, perhaps any chin-up will, in which case you just need to take a break from that until we do some rehab and get it stronger, and then you can start to reintroduce it later. Because elbow tendonitis is related to how you grip things, it's good to be aware of which grips do what. So the underhanded or the chin-up grip, that tends to put more strain on the inside of the elbow, which is how you get the golfer's elbow, and the overhanded grip or that pull-up grip tends to send more strain to that tennis elbow or the outer elbow.
So with greater awareness of those grip positions, it's important to alter your grips in whatever you're doing, whether it's carrying the shopping in or whether you are training with weights. Change your grips so that you're not stirring up those affected areas and giving them some time to heal.
What I came to learn in healing my own tendonitis is tendons love load.
But Aaron, didn't you just say to rest it? Yeah, I did. But now we're gonna work it intelligently.
Tendons love load, and eccentrics are your friend. Allow me to demonstrate. This is the tool I've used to rehab my golfer's elbow. You could use a dumbbell with a weight on the end. I didn't have one. I just found this in the shed. So I'm using this. What I use is an eccentric for golfer's elbow. So the inside, what I'm looking to do is pin my elbow to the side of my torso. I have my forearm at a 90-degree angle, nice and flat. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lower the heavy end of the hammer very, 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 very slowly outwards. And then I'm going to assist it back up. So what we're working here is the eccentric phase of the lift. Now I'm feeling that on the inside of my elbow, and it's giving that tendon a little bit of work and a little bit of load. But it's not so painful that it really, really hurts. If you are inflamed and you have some discomfort, you might get a little bit of discomfort. That's okay. But if it's very acute, we need to lighten the load. To lighten the load, you can shorten the lever, which makes it much, much easier. Or as you get stronger with it, progressive overload, you can lengthen the lever until it gets harder and harder. And so what we want to do here is sets of 10 of those reps, 3 to 4 sets. If your tendonitis is on the outer elbow, you're having tennis elbow, then we do this drill. Same setup. The elbow is tucked into the torso. We have the forearm out at 90 degrees, and we do the eccentric inwards. We lower down very, very, very slowly, and then we can assist it back to the top. So what we're looking for here again is not super amounts of pain in the outer elbow, but some mild discomfort is okay. We don't really want that to get above, a 3 out of 10. And we're just working that eccentric, and we lift it back up. Now again, you can shorten the lever length to make it easier. You can adjust it that way. So you will find if you try to do the eccentric part or the lifting part, it's much, much harder. That can place a lot more strain on the tendon. So just stick with the eccentric lowering phase. Again, sets of 10, 3 to 4 sets every day.
Some people recommended to me massage. Look, I didn't get tremendous benefit from that. I did do some around the affected areas, and I don't think in isolation that's enough. So it can be something supplementary that you do in addition to those eccentric loading drills, but certainly massage on its own just wasn't effective for me.
I did at one point in time start to experience symptoms of bicep tendonitis. I was pursuing the holy grail of chin-ups, the one-handed chin-up, and I overdid it in a session. I didn't feel any pain at the time, but the next day I woke up with a bit of a sharp pain where the bicep tendon joins into the forearm, and having experienced tendonitis in my past, I immediately knew what that sensation was. So if you get onto this stuff quickly, it doesn't set in, it's not a problem. So I immediately went into I let it settle down for a couple of days, and then I went into some eccentric loading drills, and within a couple of weeks it was gone. So what I did for that, if it was the bicep tendonitis, I just did some basically eccentric arm curls like this, very, very slowly, and then I spotted myself up. Very, very slowly, and then up. So I did sets of 10, 3 to 4 sets of 10 per day, just to give that tendon some love and some loading. And it went away within 2 weeks.
So the benefit of having had tendonitis and knowing what it is, if it comes up again for you, you can get onto it straight away and you can clear it and get rid of it fairly early. If it is really set in, it may take a little bit longer to get rid of, but you will get rid of it. You just have to keep at it, be diligent, and address it.
Most of the time we know what causes our tendonitis. So for me, I was doing a lot of heavy weighted chins. It was putting a lot of strain through the inner elbow, and I got golfer's elbow as a result. So I knew what caused it. However, playing around with diet, I've come to learn now that what we eat has a tremendous impact on systemic inflammation within the body. And I didn't realize this until I was getting some joint pain in my fingers. I was doing a lot of jiu-jitsu, a lot of gripping, and I decided to experiment with my diet. I went on a 30-day anti-inflammation diet. So you cut out sugar and gluten and dairy, and I was just basically eating sort of a paleo type diet, just meat and vegetables, and the inflammation in my fingers went away after 2 weeks. So that really gave me some clues that what I'm putting into my body can have an influence on inflammation that affects healing for tendonitis and inflamed related things. So I just put that out there. You can do your own research on that. I'm not a nutritionist, but I have had some positive impact from making those alterations to my diet. Now, let's look at some prehab. Like I said before, prevention is better than the cure. So if I'm going to do work on the rings or anything that's going to put a lot of strain through my elbows, I like to use this drill to warm up my elbows before the sessions. It helps prevent tendonitis. So what we do with this one is we take a grip like this on the end of the dowel, and we keep this hand locked in closer to our torso. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this hand in like this, rotate my wrist over and down, and take it back out, trying to not let go of the grip. And what this is doing is it's flossing the elbow on the extended arm. So what you can do is 10 of these, and it really puts the elbow through many different ranges of motion, under tension, under load, like so. And then what you want to do is you want to change arms. So you can also create a bit of traction in that arm by pushing outwards, a bit of outwards pressure. And then we do the same. You might have to turn the torso slightly to create enough space to get that under, like so. Try not to let that grip go of the extended arm, and let it slide through the hand, like so. That really flosses that elbow and helps prep it for ring work and other activity that's going to put strain through the elbow. Finally, this is a drill I do at the end of my pulling workouts. So at the end of my ring session, I'll chuck in 2 sets of these, and basically what I do is I support my back so it's nice and straight. I've got some very light dumbbells. This isn't hypertrophy, this isn't a muscle building thing, it's purely to give that tendon some love. And simply what I do is I curl up, turn the weights over, and go down. And I'll do 2 sets of 10 of these, nice and slow and controlled, just to put some load through that tendon on both sides. So I'm feeling that on the inside and the outside of the elbow.
Once you heal your tendonitis, is it ever gone for good? That's a good question, and I think mine doesn't give me any grief anymore, so I don't get any acute pain. It doesn't stop me from doing anything I want to do. However, I still have an awareness of it, and it's something I am very conscious of managing because I really don't ever want to get it back again. So I can still sort of feel traces of it, even though it doesn't bother me or hurt anymore. It's still kind of there. And I don't know if that's like a muscle memory thing or something that you just have to manage forever from now on. But if you understand these key principles about how to manage it with your prehab exercises, like the dowel drill I gave you and those curls, you can do things like that to manage it and make sure you don't get it again. And then also understanding those eccentric loading principles will help you with any kind of tendonitis to get out of acute pain if you're in acute pain. If you are in acute pain, I empathize. It sucks. It really does. But it can get better. So stay true to your practice, keep going, and it will leave you and get better.
That's it for today's video, guys. If you got something out of it, please give it a thumbs up. That helps boost this video up and get it out there to people who might be suffering similar conditions and could get some good information from this video. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe already. More great content on its way. Check out my beginner ring routine video. That might give you some ideas if you're thinking about training on the rings. I'll put a link to that video below. I have a lizard crawl guide with 13 lizard crawl variations. I'll put a link to that below as well. And I have an online locomotion course if you're interested in learning how to flow like a panther. So check that out below too. I will see you in the next video. Peace.